Good afternoon and welcome to NCIA's Industry Essentials Educational Webinar Series, our premier digital educational platform featuring a variety of interactive programs to provide you timely, engaging, and essential education when and where your team needs it most. My name is Brian Gilbert, the Deputy Director of Events here at NCIA, and as always, I'm very excited to welcome you all to another special edition of our Service Solutions series today, being hosted by the team from Acumatica. One final note before we get started, if you are one of the few people joining us for the live stream on our Facebook, make sure to follow that short link in our video description and secure a spot in today's session. Now, let's get this show on the road. In today's program, presented by Acumatica and entitled Learn How to Grow Your Cannabis Business with Acumatica Cloud ERP, our dynamic panel of experts will take an in-depth look at the many challenges that cannabis companies face and how their mobile, adaptable business management solution can expedite and ensure your progress. Whether it is securing capital and licensing, hiring qualified people, or meeting compliance mandates, enterprise resource planning solutions provide cannabis companies like yours cloud-based solutions to help keep your growing business more agile and efficient. Along the way, they'll showcase real success stories from cannabis companies just like yours, followed by a product demo of the Acumatica Cloud ERP and a moderated Q&A session with the audience. Well, I know our panel is eager to dive into this discussion and our audience is interested in having all their questions answered along the way. So let's not waste any more time. To kick things off, I'd like to welcome our panel for today's session, Sean Chatterjee, Vice President of Partner Sales, and Eric Moreau, Director of Pre-Sales, for Acumatica, to the virtual stage to kick things off by introducing their background, their company, and their product. Welcome to NCIA's Industry Essentials. Welcome, Eric. Welcome, Sean. Great to have you all here today. You all can activate your video feed as Sean has and activate your screen share and kick it away from here.
Great. Thank you so much, Brian. I'm so excited to be able to present to all of you. Thank you so much for your time. And good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Sean Chatterjee. I'm with Acumatica. I'm the Vice President of Sales for North America and been with Acumatica since 2012. So it's been a fantastic journey. And one of the things that we take pride in is to really help growing businesses scale by having the right systems in place. And so in today's session, what we're going to talk about is what does that system look like? You know, what are the typical challenges for these growing businesses, and what are the problems that we solve? So look forward to it. But hey, Eric, do you want to do a quick introduction before I start sharing my screen?
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eric Moreau. I'm the Director of Pre-Sales here at Acumatica, and not as many years as Sean here at Acumatica. I'm approaching my 4-year anniversary, but been in technology for about 20 years. Prior to getting to technology, though, I was in the accounting world for about 8 years coming out of college. So very comfortable in that operational side of business, being both an auditor and a controller before I got into technology. So really looking forward to sharing the product, and hopefully by the end of my session, you'll realize why I'm so excited about Acumatica and why we continue to win all kinds of awards for our usability, which I'm sure Sean will be talking about in just a moment.
Thank you so much, Eric. So I'm going to actually stop sharing my video and start sharing my slides. And I promise you that this session is not going to be all about slides, but I do want to make sure that there is a context, there's a foundation behind what we're going to show you. So we're going to start with a few slides, and then we're going to hand it over to Eric for the demo. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And Eric, if you can just confirm that we are able to see the screen on your end.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, awesome. So to begin with, I think that let's look at the agenda. So I'm going to give a quick overview of the cannabis industry. Most of you in this audience are from the industry itself, so you guys know it really well. But at the same time, what are the challenges? I mean, it's a dynamic industry. It's really booming. But at the same time, there are some very specific challenges that are faced by businesses in the industry. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And then we're going to talk about things like digital transformation. What is a cloud-based ERP? And a little bit about us as a company and some of our customers. So that's really the agenda from my end. And then I'm going to pass the baton to Eric. And Eric is actually going to show you the product and the solution that I'm going to talk to. So first off, no secret to anyone in this call that this is a a really booming business. Today, if you look at the cannabis business, it's a little over 60 billion. And the estimate, and as you can see that this is a nice graph going up year over year. And by today's estimate, it's going to be about $100 billion industry by 2030. And you already can see different states opening up, but it's still, I would say, we have it's the tip of the iceberg, so as to speak. There's a tremendous amount of growth that is still ahead of us. So all of you folks in the call today that are in the business, it is an exciting time for all of you. Now, while it's an exciting time, while looking at the growth, there are some challenges. The challenges can vary all the way from capital and raising capital for the business to being able to be compliant. As we all know that there are different compliance requirements by state, and being able to comply and report based on this compliance is not an easy feat. Now, if you couple that with all of the things that are related to marketing, with sales, with operations, what's happening is that most of these businesses are trying to add employees to really take care of all these different aspects to their business, which involves reporting, which involves inventory tracking, which involves sales, whether it's sales online or sales in the store or doing B2B sales. And also things like just simple things like, being able to understand your cost of goods and being able to understand your profitability. Most businesses today are grappling with multiple systems, and when you don't have a system that is integrated, what ends up happening is you start hiring people to do those tasks. And that's where a solution like Acumatica comes in, that tries to bring all of those different pieces together in one single system. And that's what we're going to talk about in a little bit. At the core of what we do, at the very core of what we do is digital transformation. So the businesses that we work with have silos of data. So think about their accounting system being separate from their inventory management system. And they may have a website that is taking orders, but those orders are not tied to the inventory. And then you may have a customer service agent that might be using a completely separate tool while they're talking to their clients. So at the core of what we do is, number one, we bring them all together in one single system. And then we make sure that all of the actionable data is available at people's fingertips. So if you're the business owner and you're traveling, you will be able to see all of the actionable intelligence at your fingertips, whether it's sales related, whether it's purchasing related, whether it's related to your inventory turns. All of those is going to be available to you at any time on any device. So that is the crux of what Acumatica does. It brings a business that has silos of information, in different areas, and we bring them together and make it actionable for the business owners. And if you look at the time that we're living in today, digital transformation has become a requirement. It's no longer something that's on the wish list that, hey, I wish we had, digital transformation. Today, after COVID, I mean, it's one of those things that you absolutely need to have to survive as a business. And when I talk about survival as a business, the key word for us is business resiliency. So we make a business resilient by making sure that we allow for rapid integrations. We allow for remote collaboration. We make the business future-proof by making sure that that everybody is connected. Your employees, your customers, and your vendors. Everybody is connected using a single system. Acumatica as a company, I mean, if you look at what we have done, we just recently, just a week back, we won the 2021 Cody Award as the best ERP product. But this slide talks about customer satisfaction, and G2 is it's a crowdsourcing, so they get feedback from end users and they rate different products and solutions based on the actual feedback from customers. So you can see that Acumatica scores extremely high. We are at the very, if you look at the leader, and you see our sign right there, that's Acumatica. And it's, it's one of the things that we really pride ourselves in. The focus on customer satisfaction, the focus on customer service, and we are constantly trying to evaluate how the customers are rating us. And we are trying to improve and make sure that we take it up a notch with every single year. All right. I talked about the Cody Awards we just won. We have got some very good ranking from Gartner, from IDC. We have actually won the PC Magazine's Editor's Choice Award. But these are all things that the press, the analysts, they're all looking at us. But if you look at, as a customer, if you look at Acumatica, at the very core of the product, these are the modules that make up the solution. So your financial management, project accounting, inventory management, customer management, payroll. Now remember that these are not separate products. That's one thing that I want you to understand, that it's all maybe sold as an add-on, but it's all part of the same basic architecture of the product. So it's all in one single platform. Some of the things that makes us different as a business, I talked about scaling businesses early on. And one of the reasons that businesses really scale with us, not only because of the product and the platform, but because of our pricing strategy, where we don't price by users, we base our pricing on consumption. So if you're growing as a business, your growth, and how much you use the system will determine how much you pay. For some reason, and we have seen that in the past, if a business shrinks for some reason, they end up paying less. So this is really good for businesses that are growing, especially those that are having to add 15, 20, 25 users. You're not having to pay for every employee that joins in a separate user fee. In fact, a lot of times you can add 15, 20 users without having to pay a single dollar more. But there will come a time that you might have achieved a lot of growth, maybe 30%, maybe 40%, and you may need to update your licensing to the next tier. Most of our customers, if you look at the slide, you have the public cloud and the private cloud. I would say that 95% of our customers are on the public cloud, where everything is managed. The customer does not have to think about infrastructure. They don't have to think about hosting or doing database backups, security. All of those things are really managed by Acumatica. That's what is called the fully managed Acumatica cloud. And like I said, the 95% of the customers we have are on that category. But then you may have those 5% that may want to have it on their own private instance of the cloud. For whatever reason, it could be regulatory compliance, like for example, an FDA mandated business or a business that has HIPAA compliance, but we do allow for that. That's the main thing here, that we allow for a customer to choose between public and private cloud, and they can switch from one to the other if need be. One of the things also that makes Acumatica really special is the architecture. It's a very open architecture. If you think about it, all of us are surrounded by different islands of cloud applications. And the ability to connect with them very easily makes Acumatica really a powerful system. So whether it's a payroll system, whether it's Smartsheet, whether it's Outlook, Microsoft Outlook integration is something that we in Acumatica in the sales team uses very often. So the ability for us to not only provide a lot of power within our own solution, but also to connect with other applications is a big benefit to you as the customer. Some of our customer success stories, I just want to mention one. This is a client called Mammoth Distribution, that is one of the largest cannabis distribution company in California. And it's been growing very, very fast. And as they were growing, they started, some of the issues I talked about, that they realized that they needed more robust reporting. They needed a much better handle on their manufacturing process and their inventory process. And they needed to have a system that also allows the salespeople to use the system much more effectively. So they implemented the Acumatica with the manufacturing edition, and they also implemented the customer relationship management within the solution. So something that they've been using for a while, very happy customer. And we have many, many customers like this in the cannabis space. Now, we have two very powerful solutions that have been built on our platform by our partners specifically for the cannabis business. One of them is called MaxQ Technologies that actually combines your cultivation, your manufacturing and processing, distribution, analytics, and all your compliance in one single system. And the other solution we have is called Quantum Leaf, which also is meant for the complete seed to sale for any of these businesses. So your cultivation businesses, your distributors, your processors, vertical operators, all of them can benefit from the solution. So those are two very, very functional, very deep, and very good product solution that have been built very specifically for the cannabis vertical. And if you're interested, I will highly encourage you to contact us. And based on your requirement, we can make sure that you're connected with the right partner and the right product. And with that, I'm going to actually pass the baton over to Eric. And Eric is going to give you a brief demo so that you can get a sense as to what the product is all about. So with that, I'm going to put myself on mute. I'm going to start unsharing, and Eric, you can take it over.
Okay, very good. All right, very good. So, and Sean, if I could just get confirmation from you that you can see Acumatica at this point.
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. So again, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Eric Moreau, Director of Pre-Sales here at Acumatica. I'm looking forward to taking you through the solution. Again, a lot of things that Sean had talked about, we'll drill down on. But again, really what's important to stress is that this is one solution. We're basically sitting in one database, if you will. As I understand it, some of the challenges that some of you may have is you're running multiple databases. You may use one database for CRM or customer relationship management, another database for order entry, another database for commerce. Everything within Acumatica is going to be sitting in one database, so we're going to get one version of the truth. Folks, I'm currently logged in as admin as a super user. So as a super user, I have access to all these various workspaces that you see coming down here on the left-hand side. Because we're a role-based solution, if you only work in accounts payable, for example, you would only see accounts payable type items. But while we're here looking at the workspaces, again, we'll look at some of these things today. Payables, we're going to look at order entry, we're going to be looking at inventory, but some of the things I don't have on display, Sean had talked about manufacturing, for example, right? So we do have production orders or bills of materials, MRP or materials requirement planning, as well as a configurator, right? So when we think about manufacturing, again, a little bit different than what I'm used to. But again, just want you to realize that we do have those capabilities built into Acumatica as well. Each time I click on our logo in the top left-hand corner, you will see that it's going to take me back to my homepage, which for me happens to be the controller dashboard. I'm a finance guy by nature, so this is the dashboard that I like to spend my time. But we actually have a number of different role-based dashboards within Acumatica. So for example, if I look at the AP clerk dashboard, I can see the things that the AP clerk is going to be interested in. Or if I look at the warehouse manager dashboard, I can see the things that he or she could be interested in as well. So if I look at any particular workspace, you'll see here that I'm in the payables workspace. So I go ahead and click show all. This is everything that's available just in one workspace. And you can see it can be a little bit overwhelming, right? So what we do is we use this show less feature where the users can actually configure the things that they want to see. So they can see the things that they need to focus on. However, at other times in the year when they need other functionality, they can very simply just click show all and they can find the functionality that they're looking for. You'll also find that Acumatica is highly configurable. Notice I'm saying configuration as opposed to customization. When we talk about customization, we talk about complexity, we talk about dollars, we talk about overruns, those types of things. But Acumatica, although we can customize the product, it's highly configurable. And here's a great example. Mary's coming off of Quickbooks, for example. She's a little apprehensive about learning a new system. So what do? We labeled a tile to say, hey, Mary, use this to enter her AP invoices. So very simple. Now, the other thing we can do to help make Mary's life a little bit easier is we can use her favorites. So on the favorites tab, this is everything that Mary is doing throughout the day in and day out. She's entering invoices, she's running a P&L, she's looking up vendors, she's looking at her AP clerk dashboard, for example. Now, again, what's nice about this is that she could actually run her entire day directly from here. She doesn't have to think about where's this or where is that. All right. Now, in the situation where we do need to think about where is this, where is that, Acumatica offers a very powerful tool called universal search. Folks, like the name implies, it's going to allow you to search on virtually anything within Acumatica. And the story I like to tell is back in the day when I was a controller, my accounting manager, Cheryl, would come to me, I don't know, about January 20th and say, oh, Eric, don't forget, we got to do 1099s. And the mass panic would set in because no one knew where to start. Well, with Acumatica, that's never an issue anymore. All I did is type in 1099 into universal search, and what did I get? I got the menu items as it relates to 1099s. Now I recognize it's July and nobody's thinking about 1099s, but anything within Acumatica you need to look up, financial period management, anything you need to learn about in Acumatica, you type the topic in here, there's your menu items, there's the help. So now I can get a refresher because I haven't seen 1099s. Either I'm new to Acumatica or I haven't seen them in over a year. I need to get a refresher on how to manage 1099s. Now, the other thing you'll see here are transactions and profiles. So these are not specific to 1099, the IRS form, but these are transactions that happen to have the number 1099 attached to them, or I happen to have a project number 1099, so I can see all the transactions that's associated. Or think of this, a customer calls up or a vendor calls up, hey, I have a question. Type in the first few numbers of their phone number, and boom, you are now at their master record. So again, get on the phone, get off the phone, easy peasy, right? So again, that's the thing about Acumatica, how easy it is to get around. And the other thing I want to show you is if I type in the word case, not only can I look at help topics, transactions, and menu items, I actually have files. So if you look here, these are PDFs or Excel spreadsheets. So any file that I'm storing within Acumatica, I can search through universal search as well. Now, I'm not going to show you the Outlook integration today, but we do have Outlook integration available. So any documents you brought in through Outlook, you would be able to search through universal search as well. The thing that we see here is this dashboard. Again, I want to talk a little bit about the dashboards. As I mentioned, we have a number of role-based dashboards that are available to us. So here, as a controller, as a finance person, I can get a summary of my aging. Again, I recognize on the AR side, it's probably not that big a deal, but maybe on the AP side, it's going to be a bigger deal, right? So I need to know what bills I have. What is my cash position? All right. Current period expenses. I can view all this information and store this right on my dashboard. And by the way, we can actually push this out to our mobile if I wanted to. And let me just show you how easy it is to do that. That's 1 click, that's 2 clicks, that's 3 clicks, that's 4 clicks. We're going to wrap up today's session by showing you the mobile capabilities, and we will now see that dashboard on my mobile device as well. So speaking just a little bit more about dashboards, I wanted to show you the ability to modify these and all the different types of dashboards that you can create. So if I create what's called a new widget, you can create a chart table that you see there. A data table is raw data. All right, you can store key performance indicators. How's my margin doing? Is it going up? Is it going down? For those of you that work in Excel, we have pivot tables built into the product. And again, from a reporting standpoint, Power BI is available to you as well. Another great feature of Acumatica is the filter feature, right? We need to be able to get at the data. And again, I'm a great accountant, and even there's probably some people that would argue with me there. But my point is, folks, I am not strong technically, all right? Very comfortable in the world of debits and credits. I'm not strong technically. It's important that we have a solution that's easy to use. So guys like me can run a filter, for example, and get at the data that's important to me. Now, the example I'm going to show you here is quite elementary. I will be the first to tell you, but it doesn't matter where you are in Acumatica, inventory, manufacturing, any of those areas, you're going to be able to create these filters. Now, what I'm going to use is a quick filter. Well, first of all, I want to see only open AP, but before I do that, look at, I have about 2,600 records down here. So I want to see only open. So let's clear that and show me only open transactions. And I only want to see those greater than, I don't know, $35,000, right? 35, 1, 2, 3, go ahead and click OK. And I've now my query has gone from 2,600 records down to 18 records. Wow, this is a kind of a neat file or neat filter. I want to save this. So all I need to do is click save. By the way, I can share this with others. Can't multitask here. Open AP, alligator mouth, $35K. Okay, I can share it with others. And now what? I have that all records, but I want to focus on that open AP greater than 35,000 so I can do so very quickly. Okay, so again, think of that from an opportunity standpoint. If I go on to my customer view dashboard and drill back here, look at all the different filters that have been applied here. All right, so what do we got? Half a dozen or so. So you can have as many, actually even more than that. If I click on the drop down, there's a bunch more underneath here as well. The other thing while I'm on this generic inquiry, I want to talk about something called side panel here. So if I highlight a particular row, I can see over here on the side, I can actually view a dashboard specific to this customer. All right, so I can see that they got 3 orders to ship. I got their late orders. I got open opportunities. But if I happen to click on a different row, watch how Lazy River is going to automatically update for another customer, in this case called Alta A. So now I have that information specific for that customer. Or if I want to view this particular opportunity, all I need to do, again, highlight the row, click on this icon, and I can now see the opportunity that's associated with that row. All right, so I can see all the activities if I wanted to. Well, I don't know, okay, tough to see. Let me just blow that up a little bit. And now I can see all the touches that have taken place, okay? So again, the nice thing is I did not have to leave the window that I was on, so I still have access to everything that I needed to see from the side panel as well. Okay. So again, folks, that was just kind of an overview of Acumatica. We talked about universal search, the tool that you can use to find most anything within Acumatica. And the example I used was 1099s, but anything that's important to you, you're going to be able to look for within universal search, including menu items, files, and transactions, as well as the ability to bring items in from Outlook and use that to search within universal search as well. We talked about the ability to configure our workspaces for our specific users. In this case, Mary was apprehensive, so we changed the tile to make that a little bit more comfortable for Mary. We talked about the ability to create filters. All right, so you can use those throughout, and you can assign those to your dashboards as well if you wanted to. Okay. All right, the other thing I want to talk about as we wrap up the overview here of Acumatica is just the ability to report within Acumatica. Now, again, I don't really know the industry all that well. I'm not going to misguide you or mislead you. So, but very easily what I was able to do yesterday in preparing for this demo, I know some of you may have different divisions or lines of business, if you will, within your operation. So within Acumatica, I can manage those different entities, these different branches. So if I wanted to see what's going on with cultivation, I can just choose cultivation, and you will now see that I'm in the cultivation area. Now, because I'm a super user, I have access to everything. That's why this information is not refreshing. I'm seeing everything. Or if I wanted to see what's going on with distribution, I can just access that information directly from here as well. Okay, so and then we'll look at financials here in just a moment, and when we do that, you'll be able to see how you can view financials for each of your different entities within Acumatica. And again, to our point earlier, to Sean's point earlier, everything is sitting on one database. That's why it makes it easy to do all of this reporting. All right. Okay. So what I want to do now is transition into just real quickly, just talk a little bit about CRM. So I have this customer flow dashboard for CRM. So when we think of CRM, it's customer relationship management. Now, folks, this is going to apply more to our B2B type customers. Okay, so I don't believe that you're going to be creating leads or opportunities for your B2C, although you could have a list of leads and you want to do promotions, you could do that from within Acumatica. But where I was thinking more when you get into the opportunities, if someone's building out a store, perhaps you may use an opportunity. But just want to let you recognize, again, Outlook integration, we're going to see the mobile. You can also import. So if you're buying lists or people are hitting your website and you want to import that data into Acumatica as a lead, you could do that. All right, we manage the contacts. They're, again, just people at this point. And then ultimately, for example, on the B2B side, we may create an opportunity. So let's see what an opportunity looks like within Acumatica. And the way I do that is I'm just going to use my friendly universal search. And I can now call up the universal search, call up that opportunity, and I can see everything that's going on with this particular opportunity. So again, although I'm on an opportunity, throughout Acumatica, we have the ability to manage all of these touches. So back in June, Sam called to discuss a new store opening. We set up a site visit. Well, we talked about a site visit, then we did the site visit, and then we're I've asked somebody to follow up with Sam, so I've assigned a task to others in the organization. So it doesn't matter where you are in Acumatica, you can assign a task. So think of it from an accounts payable standpoint. I need somebody to approve this transaction. You can say, hey, Jay, I need you to approve this transaction, and you can manage all that within Acumatica. And then guess what? They would actually get that on their dashboard as well. So I believe on the purchasing manager dashboard, here's an example where we could see those transactions that are pending approval. Okay, so the other thing that you saw on there is the ability to build out a quote of activity. And again, I can use all of this on my reporting. So if I go to the document details, these are the items that Lazy River is interested in purchasing. And there's the dollar amount of this sales, this opportunity, which I can then push over as a quote as well. All right, the other thing I want to show you is just talk a little bit more about sales orders. So what does sales order look like within Acumatica? So if I create a new sales order, actually I'm going to take that back. I actually created a new sales order already. So I'm just going to use my VCR button to call up the last one. And in this case, Lazy River, again, they're buying an abundance of product for one of their stores perhaps, okay? So you can see here the different line items that appear on the details tab. Now, earlier, Sean had talked about visibility as to what's going on with the business. Well, if you look here, the Black Cherry Punch has got a warning next to it. And what's it tell me? All right, minimum gross profit is not satisfied. So it's a warning, just tells me, hey, maybe I do want to sell this for this price. Maybe it's a loss leader, who knows, right? But it doesn't matter. I do have the ability to view this very quickly and determine if there's an issue or not. The other thing I love about Acumatica, and again, talk about managing things proactively instead of reactively, is I click on the different rows, look at the numbers at the very bottom. So right now I can tell you that I have, for the Black Cherry Punch, I have 360 on hand, 360 available. Or if I look at the life hack here, I can see that I have 160 on hand, 160 available. Okay, so again, look at that when you're filling out an order. You can immediately tell a customer perhaps that we have the product available or not. And we're going to show you how to manage that within Acumatica as well. The ability to manage discounts, again, for that typical B2C environment, scratch that B2B. I can take off that discount if I don't want to offer a discount. Okay. All right, so what happens when we are missing inventory? If we don't have enough inventory, right? So if I go ahead and add another item here, so for example, they want to buy some edibles, I can type in the mango chew, and again, whoops, I don't have enough. All right, I immediately, the warning is there, but also down below, I can see I have on hand available, on hand 5, and I'm negative inventory, which means I probably have another sales order out there. So within Acumatica, I can use my prepare replenishment to view what's going on with that particular inventory item. All right, and if I choose the right item, instead of prepare payments, choose prepare replenishment. All right, it's for this particular warehouse. I'm not the owner, so when I remove my name here, look at there, it tells me immediately that I have to buy this product in order to meet demand. So my max quantity is 2,400, but I'm below my reorder point. If you saw here in just a minute or a moment ago, we saw that we had 5 on hand, which is below 10. So therefore, we're going to create a purchase order for $24.95, representing the 2,400 that I already have, or excuse me, where I want to get back up to my balance of 2,400. I'm negative, but I have 5 on hand. So 95 plus 5, excuse me, the quantity on demand is 100. I have 5 on hand, so I need 24.95 to get back up to my max quantity. So from here, what I can do is I could choose process. Oops, if I mark this button here, I can choose process. And now when I go into purchasing, you'll see under processes, I can create the purchase order for the mango chew. Now, you also note here, folks, available throughout Acumatica is the ability to schedule processes within Acumatica. So I don't even need to touch that inventory evaluation. I could schedule that to run every day at 3 o'clock, for example, or every morning at 6 a.m., whatever the case is. I can do this automatically. So if I push the button and choose process, it's now going to create a purchase order for me. All right. So what you'll see here is when it created that purchase order within Acumatica, we have the ability to manage approvals. So again, throughout Acumatica, AR, AP, inventory, we can set up approvals if we want someone to view a transaction. All right, now in this case, you'll see that I have a purchase order and it's going to require approval. Now, what happens if I remove the hold? Actually, you didn't know that yet. When I remove the hold, it then tells me it's going to pen the approval. All right, so what I can do is, I just want to show you a little bit about that, because if I can type correctly. Okay, all right, assignment and approval maps. Again, these are some examples, but if I look at the PO two-step approval, because again, I recognize purchasing is going to be very important to your organizations. In this case, if a purchase order is created, and you look down below, as I click on the items up here, how the bottom portion of the window is getting refreshed. So in this case, if I create the purchase order, it's not on hold, and no one else has approved it, it's going to go to Layla for approval. Once Layla approves it, watch what happens. It now is on hold. Excuse me, it's still not on hold, but someone else has approved it, but it's greater than $5,000. So it's going to go to Max for approval. And then the other area, again, just another example of approvals, is accounts payable preferences. All right, this is a really powerful approval. So when you're entering your AP transactions, if you have different departments within your solution, they can go to, in my world, it's consulting, but it could be distribution or cultivation or whatever the case may be. And for example, if it needs to be approved by operations, on the rule, it's going to say, send it to Eric for approval. Or if it's finance, it's going to go to Layla for approval. If it's this particular vendor, I want it to go to Anna for approval. Or if it's a class of vendors, I want it to go to Eric for approval, or if it's greater than $1,000. So again, very powerful approval capabilities within Acumatica as well. All right, I'm just going to take a quick scan of my notes here, make sure we've touched on everything. And then what I want to show you before we go to the mobile is if I run this P&L, right, for profit and loss for the month of June. So there it is at the macro level. But now what I can do is I say, you know what, show me how my line of business is doing for distribution, all right, or for cultivation. Now, let me just back this up a little bit, see if I can get some more activity. I apologize, folks. Let me go back to May, run this report. Okay, so now, whoops, I don't know, I'm not getting any data in there, but regardless, without the numbers, you can see how I could get the P&L for my different lines of business. And again, you'll see here, there's processors, cultivation, distribution. It's the same thing here, okay. All right, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and transition to mobile. And while I do that, I'm going to ask Sean to take over for a couple of minutes while I set up my my mobile to share here. I got to do a couple of things on my end to do that. Sean?
No, absolutely. So while you get the mobile set up, I just wanted to kind of give a heads up that in the sales team, within my group, I mean, we are using the mobile interface for a number of different things. One of them is expenses, right? So when we travel, the mobile allows you to take a picture of your receipt, and there is some intelligence built in where it can auto-populate a lot of the information, and that is completely connected with the backend. So so expenses is one thing. The other thing is just being able to have the information with regards to your customers, your prospects, your tasks, your appointments, all of it, which is set up within Acumatica, again, available in your mobile phone within your fingertips. What Eric is going to show you once he's up and running is also the same kind of information on the dashboards and what have you available on your mobile. The difference, remember always, that if you're on a 21-inch screen, the interface, looks very different. But if you have a mobile, which is 5 inches or 6 inches, or depending on the kind of cell phone that you use, you can't use the same interface. It has to be optimized for touch, finger and touch, right? And that's what makes it special, that it's not just the fact that you're using a mobile phone to connect to the application, but the fact that it really is like an app. It is very friendly for, it's very mobile friendly. So let's give a few minutes for Eric to.
Do you see my phone, Sean? You should see the phone at this point.
Yeah,
okay.
I do.
Perfect. Yep. Okay, great. So again, as Sean had mentioned, it's an app. And the great thing about this, it's a direct connect into Acumatica. There is no synchronization that needs to take place. There is no, oh geez, I can't, access the data. It's going to be real time. So as you update information here in Acumatica, it's going to flow seamlessly back into, or when I update it on my mobile, it's going to flow seamlessly back into Acumatica. So the office will have the real-time information. So to Sean's point, I can do lots of things. So again, a lot of you are going to be mobile, right? You're on the road, or could even be just out in the warehouse or around your facilities. You can manage all your expenses. Earlier, we talked about approvals. So if I have any approvals out there that require my attention, I'm going to be able to access those from Acumatica. Earlier, we talked about leads as well as opportunities. So if I click on that opportunity here, all right, there's the build out of the new store. And if I wanted to, I could go see all the activities. All right, there's the activities. And if I want, I can, if I create a new note, we will see that here in just a moment. Okay. Thank you for allowing us to participate, Brian. So that's the thing that I love about Acumatica. We are a true technology company. We use the latest technology to be able to make life easier for our users. And there's a great example where I just use my voice to text to type in the information. All right. But what I want to get to are the dashboards that Sean had talked about. All right. So if I get down here, there is the controller dashboard that I added to this dashboard. It was at 4 clicks, I believe. So if I want to see any of this information, I'm going to have it right at my fingertips. Or if I wanted to see that customer view dashboard so I can get a summary of the customer before I call on them, I'm going to have all that information here. And then the last thing as it relates to the mobile is we do have WMS capabilities as well. So warehouse management. So if we're picking and packing orders out in the warehouse, I can scan that pick list, if you will, pick the product, put it in a box, and scan again and pack the order. Or from receive and put away, if I'm buying product, I can scan the purchase order and receive product into my warehouse. Again, everything is going to be real time. And when we talk about real time, let's go back into Acumatica. And again, if I call up that 394, okay, and you now see the activity that I just entered from my mobile, right? That quickly. Thank you for allowing us to participate, Brian. Okay. With that, folks, I really appreciate your time today. I hope you found it insightful. And I believe we have a few questions that we're going to address now. And again, thanks for your time. Have a great day.
So I'm actually looking at the questions right here. The first question is that, do you have tools that will help us convert from QuickBooks? And the answer is, so first off, thank you for the question. We do work exclusively with partners. And our partners have a lot of expertise in getting customers switched over from QuickBooks. And it's a very simple process at the end of the day. It is getting the data in a format that can be directly uploaded within Acumatica. So we do have the tools to do those kind of uploads. And if you have deeper questions, let us know, and we will connect you with the right partner to work with you on that. There is another question. This is a question that says that, does the system provide for integration of sales data pre and post between medical and adult sales? So that's the question. The answer is yes, we do. And again, when it would be great for you to actually see the product in action, and how it does that. So the question is, I hate to give a yes answer and not be able to elaborate. So again, it'll be great. Clarissa, if you contact us later on, and we'll connect you with the partner that can actually demonstrate what that means and how that looks like. There's a question here from Tanner, and the question is that when a contact is added to CRM, will future emails to and from that contact through Outlook be labeled and added to the account? And that's a great question. Being added to CRM. So first off, there is a direct integration with Outlook. So when you receive an email, there is going to be a button that says that, hey, add this email into my account within Acumatica, and it's automatically going to add that as an activity within Acumatica. You also have the ability to initiate a support email, for example, from within Acumatica. And when you do that, all the back and forth correspondence is going to be tracked within the system. So if you were to go to the account, look at the activities, you will be able to see a complete, back and forth exchange on email. So again, there is an integration with Outlook. And again, it would be great if you, Tanner, if you contact us, we're going to put you in touch with our partners so you can see a full demo on that. And then let me just look here. And the last question here is that, do you handle e-commerce requirements and how? So Acumatica has native integration. When I say native, it is built in the product, integration with two of the top e-commerce platforms, BigCommerce and Shopify. And we do have some partner-enabled integration with Magento, but BigCommerce and Shopify integration is pretty much native in the system. And those are the two most popular engines for B2B and B2C commerce. So the answer is yes. And again, if you would like to explore further, let us know, and we will make sure that we are putting you in touch with the right partner to show you the product and the demo. Those were the questions. So again, I appreciate everybody's time today. And thank you so much, and hope that you were able to enjoy it. You really enjoyed the webinar.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Sean and Eric, for giving us such an in-depth look at your all service solution. I was really impressed that you all could go through so many different elements of the platform and really dive deep into all the streamlining and really essential reporting features that your all service solution enables. So thank you all so much for taking the time to lead our audience and members through that conversation today. Let me get my screen share activated and close out today's program for us. Okay, perfect. Well, as always, all of our audience members will receive a PDF of today's presentation. All NCIA members will be able to carry on the conversation surrounding today's topic first inside of our members only community platform, NCIA Connect, where we'll first host and publish a recording of today's session later today and later this week. So stay on the lookout for posts to be made inside of that community platform, inside of our Industry Essentials webinars community, where we always carry on the conversation from today's programs. Huge thank you again to Acumatica Cloud ERP. Thank you all. We'll see you next time.